What's up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist here with
Gersh1.
And we're back at it answering your questions in another installment of For the Greater.
This featured question comes from Dragon Punch 903. He put question in front of his question, which is what you should do. If you want to comment anything that you guys would like us to answer, please comment down below. Don't forget to put question followed by the question. So let's go to this one. What's the most difficult army to use for a beginner in 40K? What's your opinion first?
I'd say one of the more difficult armies is the Tyranids. Not because of like the gameplay, but because they're so old that all their rules are kind of outdated.
Codex sucks.
Yeah, the Codex sucks basically. So if you play Tyranids, yeah, you'll learn about close combat, but at the same time you're gonna lose a lot. So I feel like if you're starting out, you need a good army so that way you don't get discouraged after losing and losing and losing.
I agree 100%. I think Tyranids are probably the worst army for a beginner. I love the Tyranids. I love their models. I love to play against them, play with them. Well, I don't really like to play with them. The rules, like you said, are pretty bad because they're so old. The cost to actually play Tyranids is pretty high. How much is... Well...
Like, you could buy like 20 Gaunts for like $40.
And then have them die in 3 minutes. And then that's another problem too when you're actually playing Tyranids on the battlefield. I feel like there's so many models and it's just a struggle to get them ready, prepped to battle. If you're a type of person that doesn't even paint their minis, cool. But most of the time, a Tyranid player is gonna have that army that's like half gray and then half painted because it's so difficult to like just have the time to paint everything. So for the hobby part of it, it's going to keep you busy, but most people just starting in Warhammer 40K aren't going to want to dedicate all that time to building.
Right, because you want to have your army done and ready to put on the battlefield.
This shouldn't discourage you if you like Tyranids, if that draws you into Warhammer 40K, play Tyranids. Their box set is probably one of the best bang for the buck type of deal because it comes with so many models. But yeah, the army is really hard to play with. Codex sucks, and you need time.
Yeah, which is weird because in the lore they're like one of the biggest threats.
Yeah. But yeah, let's jump on to the regular questions. First question comes from Bible Man. Does Farsight's sword capture demons like it does with the life force of the mortals?
That I don't think so, because I know Farsight, when he found the sword, like he was fighting demons. And as far as I know, I think he just kills them, but he doesn't actually take their remaining lifespan and adds it to them, because they're from like the warp, and
they're not really alive.
Warp entities aren't affected by time, because in the warp, time's all effed up, basically.
Yeah, and then whenever you kill a demon in here, you don't kill him, you banish him.
Right. So in this room, we banish demons.
Yeah, in this room. But outside, if I, raise the window.
Which we don't do that often because it's sacred.
Yeah, it's a sacred window. Maybe for Christmas.
Maybe.
Next question.
This one's by Orc Killer. Kind of brings us to our first question. But he writes, what army would you recommend to somebody who is brand new to 40K?
Okay, somebody just starting out for 40K, my suggestion would be Space Wolves because I started with Space Wolves. I think Space Wolves has a really good combination of if you want to play close combat, it gives you that option, but at the same time, if you want to play range, it gives you that option with your what are they called? Long Fangs?
Yeah, Long Fangs. That's the Devastators, essentially.
Yeah, so it's really versatile. The models are awesome, and you're not... Like, you can walk into a GW or you can walk into a hobby store and be like, I collect Space Wolves, which is a little more unique than going in there and being like, I have my own Space Marine. Just regular chapter.
Vanilla Marines.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. Space Marines is the way to go.
So what chapter would you suggest?
Well, I wouldn't suggest one from the basic Space Marine Codex because I feel like they're not too different. It's basically a vanilla army with special rules onto it. So I'd probably say maybe Dark Angels, Blood Angels, that kind of way. So it kind of, like he said, it stands apart from the regular vanilla Marines, and you get more history behind your army.
Yeah, Space Marines have have the most lore, I guess you could say.
And I think they're probably the easiest to find. Like if you go on eBay, it's all mostly Space Marine stuff.
Yeah. Next question comes from Confused Tech Priest. Why do you think GW takes so long with releasing new lore? And who do you honestly expect to win at the very end? So GW takes so long to put out lore because their lore is like really good for their business. And they're at a point where there's a struggle. There's always going to be some type of battle going on in the current 40K universe because of just how everything is set up. If they advance the lore, you can't really make more of a chaotic world or universe. It's already so chaotic. Yeah, that's what if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. It's like you gotta advance it at a steady pace because you can't just finish a story and then expect to start another one when you've got figures and everything from like the past.
Yeah, if there's players going out there using their Eldar, and then for some reason the Eldar
die off.
Yeah, or it seems like in the lore they shouldn't be that abundant.
Then you gotta like.
Yeah.
But that's only the thematic aspect. Obviously, you can still play with them.
Yeah. But. Next question.
This is by Chris Soto. Is it possible to revive the Primarch of the Ultramarines, Gilliman, by putting him into the webway or creating an artificial webway, since the webway has regenerative properties for humans?
It's a possibility, but I don't think they would do that because, well, there's a lot of reasons, right? The Eldar control the webway, or at least they know to get around the webway. So if the Harlequins really wanted to advance their agenda, they would do that. They would go to the Space Marines and be like, yo, put him in there. But I don't think the Eldar want to do that, and then the Space Marines wouldn't want to do that too because warp anything.
It's essentially
bad.
warp, and he's like a mini god to them. So they obviously don't want they don't want to move his body around and stuff. And rumor has it he's already healing in stasis, which to me that's, if you're frozen in time, how could you heal? Like, I don't know.
It's like the hyperbolic time chamber though. Goku got better.
Well, yeah, that's because their time moves slower. In stasis, you're like frozen in time.
That's true. Next question comes from Nexus of Life. Are the Space Marines in Warhammer 40K based on the European Crusaders during the Crusades? Maybe in the maybe in the beginning of Warhammer 40K. Now, the chapter that comes to mind is the Black Templars.
Right.
They're the
Crusaders.
Yeah, the copy of it. But the rest of them, no, not really. Yeah. There's the answer.
This is For Life, For Win. Did you or will you make a video about the Death Worlds? Pretty easy. We have some videos out there. Check out our... do we have a playlist for Death Worlds?
Not a playlist, but if you check the Civilians of the Warhammer 40K Universe playlist, we talk about a lot of death-like worlds. Because you got to remember, like a death world is kind of similar to a feral world, and we talk about both of them. Death worlds themselves don't have that much lore to. Well, I mean, we could do that. No, yeah, we can. We will. Specific death world, just because you asked.
So ask and you shall receive.
Especially on here. Oh, and before I forget, I was supposed to do this for. There's a friend who watches the show. He started up his own YouTube channel. The series that he's talking about is Taconomics. He's talking about like tacos. He reviews tacos in Chicago. So if you guys want to show him some One Mind Syndicate love, please jump on over to his channel. I'm going to link his video right here. Click on it. Just go there, show some love. Say, hey, One Mind Syndicate sent me over here and your stuff is good. Keep it up. Encourage him. And then hit that like button for him, and we can help somebody out from the community.
Who doesn't like tacos, right?
Yeah. But okay, back to what we were talking about.
Right. What was the question?
Crosher says, question for you guys. What do you do outside of the magical YouTube and Dark 40K worlds?
As you can see, I'm wearing the shirt, so that...
Oh, yeah.
That's what I do.
He works at Menards. Not a sponsor.
Don't save big money, guys.
Now they're gonna flood the comments with save big money. See, he saves the money at Menards so he can spend it in GW.
There you go. But yeah, it's mainly
we have regular jobs.
Yeah.
Families. Yeah, outside of YouTube, YouTube takes up
Good chunk.
a good chunk of it. Yeah. But we do it for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Next question.
This one's by Laura Zam. What do you guys think would happen in a duel between Commander Farsight and a Space Marine champion? Well, since you didn't name any particular Space Marine, they're gonna lose.
Yeah.
Because anytime it's a named character against just like a bland generic dude, yeah.
Yep, I agree. AMK _ Spitfire.
Ooh.
He gets Spitfire. What do you think will happen if High Fleet Leviathan ends up winning the Octorious War? They're not going to, because God School has just arrived, and the ways orcs are produced and all this stuff, that battle's going to keep going till the end of time. But if they were to win, it would be really interesting to see the Tyranid High Fleet evolve in a manner of... because they consume so much orc biology, so it would be cool to see like whatever hybrid comes from that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, but then at the same time, I think it would really hinder that high fleet because they would become so specifically perfect at killing orcs that if they go up against another army like the Eldar, which is the exact opposite of orcs, they would be defeated. Or they would be pushed back or whatever.
So you're saying that the Eldar went against the orcs, they'll get pushed back?
Yeah, I think Eldars, because Eldars are like slick, right? They're like, they'll come behind you, slit your throat. Orcs just go head on. So I think Eldar can fight the orcs a lot better.
So it's just their numbers that's causing them to not win.
Exactly, yeah. Because if you think about it, that Dark Eldar, during their golden age, orcs were still around. But, you know, it wasn't a big threat because of the different battle styles.
Gotcha.
Yes. Next question.
This is by John Redcorn. Would Negan from The Walking Dead make a good Chaos Space Marine?
Who's Negan, the Asian guy?
No, that's the new guy that came in, the new big baddie. He has a bat.
Oh, he kind of looks like a biker guy, right?
Yeah. Okay.
No, he's too old.
Well, yeah, he's too old, and you can't really make old people into space marines, because their biology doesn't accept it. But there's been a few who have made it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he's evil enough. It's like, he does what he needs to do to survive, and he's ruthless about it, but he's not, like, chaotically tainted, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you have to be a psychopath.
Basically, yeah.
Next question comes from Stephen Palmer. What is your favorite Warhammer 40K novel series and why? If you've read any. I mean, I've read The Beast, but that's about it. And it's cool. I haven't finished it. But yeah.
Yeah, I haven't really read many actual novels. I've read a lot of fanfics. And my favorite one was the one that I put up months ago. It was called The Shape of the Nightmare to End, and it talks about what potentially could happen in Warhammer 40K. It's really cool. I suggest you guys watch it.
And then he also suggests Blood Angels omnibus books. So
it's a bunch of short stories.
Cool. Next question.
This is by where's that? Pyramid Heck? Something like that. Except for having complete or almost knowledge of Warhammer 40K lore, what would be necessary to become an official writer of the Warhammer 40K universe? So besides knowing all the lore, what other requirements do you need to know?
You have to live in the UK. They're stationed in the UK.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure if you want any type of job that's higher up in the pyramid of GW, you have to live in the UK. And if you do live in the UK, honestly, I would just figure out where their headquarters is and somehow like email them, go to the place, be like, hey, do you guys offer internships or anything like that? Just be really confident, go in there, try your best. The worst they can do is be like, no, like what
Yeah, what are
we're
you
not
doing?
accepting
Yeah.
any applications or whatever. And if that's the case, go to YouTube, go on the forums, and write your own stuff.
Yeah. It doesn't help to have background in like other sci-fi writing stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Next question comes from Hassan Asod. What would be the impact of the return of the Emperor, and what would be the repercussions of Chaos, Ecclesiarchy, Tau, Necrons, and Tyranids? Alright, so we're not even going to answer what happened to the Imperial world if the Emperor returned, because we say that every single episode.
Yeah, basically.
What would happen to Chaos if the Emperor returned? I think Chaos would show
They'd need to get something to combat him, like something equally evil to be his mirror.
Yeah, so like something would be empowered.
Maybe Abaddon would become a Primarch,
Something
like
like
a
that.
demon Primarch or something. I don't know.
What would happen to the Tau? I think the Tau would
They'd benefit from it.
slightly, yeah. I think the Emperor, because the Emperor wasn't like completely against Xenos. You think it is, but
Yeah.
it wasn't. But I think the Tau are a little too strong, and they might become cocky. Like the Ethereals might become a little too cocky and say, "No, we can keep pushing on the Space Marines." What about the Necrons? I think they'll stay the same.
Yeah, it's probably the same thing.
Tyranids. I think the Emperor would put a little more effort into getting rid of the Tyranids. So that's for sure, because they are such a big threat.
Same with the Orcs.
Mm-hmm.
It'd probably be put most of your effort against Chaos, and then Tyranids, Orcs.
Try to push them back as much as possible.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for sending those questions. We are done with this Greater Wall, but we're going to have another one tomorrow and on the Patreon channel, so don't forget to check those out.
And as always, I'm the Sound Alchemist here with
Gersh1.
We are One Mind Syndicate, and we are out of here.